that better?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like for me to repeat the explanation?
No, go ahead.
Okay,
to the
thank you,
next
sir.
one.
Under 2013 Bond Series, item number E, requesting approval of final negotiated agreement for professional engineering services with Intech Civil Engineers as it relates to the rehabilitation of the North Main Drain, Weir Number 3, and South Main Drain, Weir Number 5, approved for negotiation by the Hidalgo County Drainage Number 1 Board of Directors on January 15, 2013. Basically, it's just the formal approval of the agreement between the Drainage District and Intech for the development of those two weirs.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item F, pursuant to the board's approval of agreement with Intech Civil Engineers requesting approval of the following work authorization. May I read them all, Mr. Crane? Or
Yes.
Thank you. One, work authorization number 1 that relates to surveying services for the North Main Drain Weir Number 3 in the amount of $6,600. 2, work authorization number 2 as it relates to surveying services for South Main Drain Weir Number 5 in the amount of $6,600. 3, work authorization number 3 as it relates to the geotech services for the North Main Drain, Weir Number 3 in the amount of $10,436.25. 4, work authorization number 4 as it relates to geotechnical services for the South Main Drain, Weir Number 5 in the amount of $10,436.25. 5, work authorization number 5 as it relates to the engineering services for the North Main Drain, Weir Number 3 in the amount of $30,724.22. 6, work authorization number 6 as it relates to engineering services for the South Main Drain, Weir Number 5 in the amount of $28,955.98. These are all based on the percentage that the court approved for negotiation with the engineers. This is, excuse me, also the approval for the geotech with the company that the engineer hired to do the geotech, and this is also the approval for the surveying of each one of the items. And we've broken down into each one of the items in order to better monitor what is being going into surveying, what is going into geotech, what is going into the actual design work.
Do we have the names of the companies that they hired?
On this one, my understanding, Judge, and it's on their worksheet they submitted, but I believe on the surveying is Doss Logistics, on the geotech is Robert Kishner, and on the physical engineering is Intech Engineering. We do have an item in our agreement, Judge, that basically when a work authorization or a contract is issued, that the engineers list the subs that they're going to use. If for whatever reason they deviate or add other subs to it, they have to submit a supplemental agreement to this court for the court to approve the new consultants they're going to be using before a work authorization is issued. So the engineers cannot hire a sub that's not on their list when they propose to y'all. So if they do, they have to come back to the court for a supplemental agreement to add the subs to the court for y'all's consideration. I believe that's Article 14 in the agreement.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, Commissioner, we do have an item under pending and/or potential litigation to brief the board on in executive session.
I'm sorry, Doctor.
We do have an item in potential litigation, Judge, under executive session.
Need a
for the board
motion
to consider.
pursuant to 551-071 and 072 to proceed to executive session.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We'll be in executive session. It is now 9:13. Excuse us, Eddie. Okay, Mr. Garza, we're back in open session.
Thank you very much, Judge Commissioners. We will proceed as directed and discuss with legal counsel on the wishes of the board.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much, Judge Commissioner. I wish y'all all a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Likewise.
Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to a regular meeting or a special meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, December the 20th, 2013. Present are Commissioner Cuellar, Precinct 1, Palacios, Precinct 2, Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, during this holiday season, we take the time to reflect on the wonderful gifts you have bestowed on us. We are blessed to live in this country where we enjoy land of plentiful harvests and abounding freedom. We are gathered here today to participate in the decision-making process for our citizens. Help us to be ever mindful of this awesome responsibility and always do what is best for the people of Hidalgo County. Bless us gathered here today and bless our efforts. All of this we ask in the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Yes, Mr. Martinez. Good morning, sir. We've got a policy of taking our elected officials out of order on their items, and I believe you're here on what particular item? Do you have the number?
Item 7C, Judge.
7C?
Yes. And if I may, Mr. Martinez, item 7C is introduction of TxDOT District Engineer Toribio Garza by Armando Mando Martinez, our state representative for District 39. Mr. Martinez?
Thank you, Mr. Guerra, and good morning, Judge and Commissioners. First of all, I want to thank you all for having us here today, and especially Commissioner Cuellar and Commissioner Palacios for having us here and inviting us to introduce our new district engineer. I'm sure many of you have already met with him and talked with him. He's an excellent individual. The short time that we have met and spoken, he has done some tremendous work with us and has given us some great ideas. I wanted to come and bring him here and give him a formal introduction, allow him to say a few words to you all, and it's my honor to introduce our new FAR District Engineer for the Texas Department of Transportation, Mr. Toribio Garza. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge,
Morning.
Commissioners. Buenos
Welcome.
días. It's an honor for me to be here this morning, be in front of el Condado de Hidalgo. I want to thank our representative. You know, when I first met Representative Martinez, I called him my hero, and I wasn't trying to butter up to him. Well, maybe I was, a little bit.
A little bit.
Because I needed his support. But I called him my hero because he was instrumental in passing that bill last legislative session that requires motorists to move over or slow down when TxDOT or emergency vehicles are on the side of the highway, just like law enforcement. We had an employee in El Paso this year, the department did, that was fixing a sign on the side of the road, and a motorist cut across and killed him. So I appreciate that, and that's why I called him my hero, because that's a big deal. Public safety. You see these billboards on our highways. It says 3,061 Texans have died on our highways this year. if you look at that, that's nine funerals every day in our state. And I hate to be so gloomy, but what it is what it is. So I want to remind everybody to drive safe and don't text and drive, during the holiday seasons. But thank you for being here. I look forward to working with the county. I know in the past, Mr. Jorge had a tremendous partnership with the county, and so I'm going to continue the great relationship that TxDOT has. We can't do anything if we don't have willing partners. So I know we have them here, and I thank you for that, and I look forward to working with you all. The FAR district is my home district, so it's good to be back, and so I want to take this time to thank you all for your public service, and to wish you all and everyone here a very happy and Christmas. I brought my sidekick with me today, Mr. Pete Alvarez. He's also new to his position. He's our deputy district engineer. Took over Jody Ellington's job. So we've kicked a year running, and look forward to working with you all.
Well, thank you, sir. And we also feel honored for you being here this morning. We look forward to working closely with you, and hopefully there'll be a lot of projects. There's a tremendous need, as you realize, for infrastructure, transportation-wise here in our South Texas community. For the benefit of the public, what is your district? Is how many counties?
We have the 8 lower counties of our state belong to the FAR district, from Zapata to Jim Hogg to Estrella to Hidalgo, Willacy, Cameron here in Hidalgo. The 8 Brooks County, the 8 lower counties belong to this district.
And in Texas, how many counties?
There's 254 counties all over the state.
And how many districts?
And there's 25 districts, regionally, strategically throughout the state. And this is District 21, the FAR district down here, and our headquarters, of course, there in the FAR district office. But, talking about the growth, we estimate that there's 1,000 new Texans that come to our state every day. And we've been estimating that for years now. That's like adding the city of San Antonio every 3 years. And it's not just more congestion and more delays, that's all more pavement damage and accidents and fatalities. And so we can look at that kind of as doom and gloom, but I look at it as opportunity. It's good to see the state growing. It's good to see our area growing. And so it allows and opens opportunities to try and plan and work together for that growth. So again, I look forward to working with you all, and thank you for inviting me.
Judge, if I may, Mr. Garza, I want to thank you. You obviously hit the ground running. You have an impeccable staff, but immediately when you came in, you called for specific meetings with all the commissioners. I want to thank you for it's been awesome working with Mario Jorge, but I'll tell you what, I think the best years are coming with you, obviously there at the leadership and having an impeccable staff. But in the last few years, we've had a lot of partnership projects in all precincts. And I think it's just, the testament to the success that the state's having along with the county is the partnerships that we have with you all. So I just want to thank you personally for all the great work that you're doing, and obviously the will to work with the county.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Look forward to working together
Thank you,
with you.
AC.
Thank you very much, and happy holidays to
You too, sir. Thank you all.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, and as a matter of fact, I may be dropping by your office this afternoon
Okay.
on a couple of projects, so looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. I do too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we
welcome.
want to take some pictures if you'll allow us. And we also need a member of the Transportation Committee to join us. No, está bien ahí.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Just a couple of more. Okay. Yes.
Watch out.
We have our district attorney in the audience. Mr. Guerra, what item are you here on, sir?
22A5.
22,
that's one of them. I don't know if they have anything under HR.
Yes, that one.
You're going to do the HR first?
No, go ahead and do this one.
Okay. Under 22A5, we have approval of an order for exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262024A, for a professional service. We need an exemption first, please.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, any questions? Not, those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The second part of that would be acceptance and approval of a negotiated engagement agreement and contract with Ms. Dr. Norma Jean Farley for the provision of autopsy and related services as drafted and developed by the District Attorney's Office, confirming compliance with those requirements under 2254 in it that she demonstrates and has the credentials to engage, to be engaged for this contract.
And for the benefit of the public, what amount of money is she going to be?
It's negotiated fees. It's not it is not a flat rate. Yeah, there are different fees for different services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. That's all I have for
Thank you.
the DA.
Morning,
Garrett?
Judge, Commissioners, Mr. Fracio, Mr. Guerra. Judge, there was an agenda item on the traffic violations in JP Court that was handled through the committee that was created by the Commissioners Court to look at all those violations that have been on the books for years.
That's item 21F, Judge, Commissioners.
And
21F?
Yes, sir.
All right.
what I'd like to inform the court is that initially they had wanted you all to request an amnesty program, or to go along with an amnesty program. And I don't know that the law really gives the Commissioners Court any say-so on anything that happens in any kind of court, other than the Commissioners Court. But because of the ongoing problems that we have with a whole bunch of very old violations, the JPs and my office are having to really dismiss a significant number of cases because the witnesses are not around if we were to take all these individuals to court. So I expect that after all is said and done with the scofflaw and what we're doing in court with a couple of my assistants, that maybe we will be able to collect $1 out of every $5 or $1 out of every $4 that might be fined by the courts. The thing that concerned me is that a JP cannot say, I'm going to give amnesty to individuals, because he doesn't have the jurisdiction, or she doesn't have the jurisdiction to give amnesty. The cases that are violations have to be negotiated through the district attorney, working in conjunction with the courts, which I'm willing to do. I had a printer, but I didn't bring it with me, but I know that we have violations that go, I think, past a decade, if I remember correctly, that are not collectible. One of our grand jurors just this past week told me that he was in Iraq in 2008, went to get his license tags, and they refused him because he had two violations that occurred when he was in Iraq. So somebody else used his identity, or somebody similar. I got a call from Judge Espinosa the other day that he was arraigning an individual that had, I think, 15, infractions. And there's no way that all those 15 infractions were going to be collected because of the fact that this individual had slipped through the dockets of the various courts, wherever he might have picked up the violation. So we're seeing, I'm saying, a significant number of cases that probably down the road will turn out to be uncollectible. And so we have to negotiate them almost on a case-by-case basis.
Yes, sir.
But the other thing that I would try to emphasize with the JPs is that we can't let the new cases be neglected for the, in trying to collect the old cases. We still have to work the new cases as zealously as we can and as actively as we can. Because otherwise they become stale, and they also, down the road, if they're bad cases, they become uncollectible.
Yes, sir.
The other thing that I think I'll talk to DPS and law enforcement. There are some violations that authorize the seizure of the automobile if certain people don't meet the certain requirements of driving on our Texas highways. And I think that might be a tool that we will use in the future if we can. I think I read about it, but I'm not prepared to really verify that right now. I just picked up a call yesterday. But we're going to look at every which way to
Yes, sir.
to maximize our collections, reference to JPs and the traffic violators that are going around, almost some thinking that they don't have to pay.
Where did this program, 60-day amnesty program idea come from, right?
Judge, Commissioners, the initial discussions regarding the amnesty program was a result of the committee's efforts to do.
But did it come from your committee? Because I know the court, I don't believe, has ever acted on it.
That's correct, sir. We looked at other counties, we looked at their programs, we looked at the tools that they utilized, and we were able to spearhead this effort. Mr. Ricardo Alvarez from your office was able to coordinate meetings with the Justices of the Peace, and we were able to secure their endorsement on this project. But this is a tool that county-wide, statewide, is being used with a successful effort with the proper coordination from the District Attorney's Office and the courts.
Ray, is a representative from the District Attorney's Office present at some of those committee hearings or meetings? I mean, obviously, I think everybody's heart's in the right place is to collect as much as we can, because a lot of that money comes back to the county coffers. But at the end of the day, obviously, we want to do everything correctly and ensure that we dot our I's, cross our T's.
Yes, yes, Commissioner. We met with them this week, and moving forward, we will assure that representation from the District Attorney's Office to ensure that we comply with the correct statutory compliances. That we want to make sure we go hand in hand and coordinate with them as well.
Judge, it is my understanding that certain fees cannot be waived, such as like a warrant fee. Once a constable issues a warrant, the JPs cannot waive those fees.
Excuse me, Judge, and I'll address Mr. Ofracio's point. In talking to and speaking to Eva Mireles from the tax office.
Yes, sir.
Because she's a supervisor over there, and I think she's very involved in overseeing the SCAF law. I think to the present, we've collected $1 million, and I think about $5 million have been dismissed.
Dismissed?
Yes, sir. And again, like in that one with the 15 violations, there's no way that we're going to be able to try that individual 15 times and go through all those loops and hurdles. And if he doesn't have any money, even if he were to be fined maximum in every case, that he would be winding up at the county jail at costing us at $50 a day and discharging $100 for every day that he's sentenced to the county jail to serve out. I think it's $100 for every day that you were sentenced to the county jail is deducted from your fine. So you're fined $500, you're going to spend 5 days in jail. Mr. Professor, what was your concern, sir?
The concern that I have is that once a constable issues a warrant, the warrant fee cannot be waived by the JP. It is my understanding.
And Mr. Professor, I don't know, we're researching those legal points, but when it comes down to prosecution and courts, it really, a lot of it comes down to basic practical things that we have to do. You may want to collect a warrant fee, but if the individual can't pay it, guess what? The JP is going to send him to the county jail to serve out half a day for the $45 that may be a warrant fee, or whatever is the amount for the warrant fee. So in these situations, it's on a case-by-case basis. And if you set a rule that the JPs cannot do this, well, I think they can. Ordinarily, the inherent powers of any court, reference to sentencing and what have you, they have quite a bit of latitude. all I do is recommend. Judges are elected to sentence and to judge people, not the DA. So if a judge says that he's going to waive fees, I'm not going to take him to a court of appeals to mandamus him to see if he's correct or not.
Because,
Well, the reason I was bringing that issue up, just because we had that issue come up before, where the constable was complaining to us that the JP was waiving the fees that he's supposed to collect. And so that's the reason I bring it up. But if
Look,
you're saying that it's practical to do that, and if it's...
If we can collect it, we're going to collect it.
Okay.
And the judge is going to order it. If the judge orders it and it cannot be collected, then if the person is before the court, then the judge can sentence him to alternative programs like community service and what have you, or send him to jail to serve out the sentence. I prefer not to send an individual to the county jail unless it's absolutely necessary, like the one with the 15 violations, just to set an example that we're not going to allow flagrant violations of the traffic laws and the requirements of the transportation code. But in collecting fees, a lot of times, as elected officials, we want to show that we're doing our work, and sometimes the Commissioner's Court may not see the work we do if we don't have a dollar sign next to the amount of money that we're trying to collect on behalf of the county for the county budgeting process and to the treasury of the county. And so sometimes it's a question of not being recognized for the work that you do, because we may look at how many dollars they brought in, especially the constables. I know that the constables, as far as I know, I haven't gotten any complaints about the work that they're doing out in the communities in support of JP courts. And I know they're trying to earn their pay and their employees, and I know they're working. I can't verify that because I don't supervise.
because of all the legal issues that are involved, are you recommending that we not implement this, that we not authorize the implementation of this?
Well, I just think we just wanted to inform you, because I'm doing amnesty when I negotiate cases with individuals and lawyers. It's really an amnesty program when I say, okay, you got 2 traffic tickets, pay me 2 and I'll dismiss 1. The other thing and I was trying to explain to Eva and other folks from the tax office and the committee, if we have a DPS trooper that gave a ticket, let's say 2 years ago, and we catch the individual and we bring him before court, he's still presumed innocent under the law. And I have to bring that officer into court if I can find him one. And if he's been transferred to Lubbock, Texas, guess what? We're not going to spend $2,000 to bring the individual back to collect a $125 fine or whatever. I mean, it's not practical. So this is why the amnesty has to almost be on a case-by-case basis. We can publicize, if you have 3 tickets, pay me 2 and I'll dismiss 1. We can do that. It's just a question of finding these folks, bringing them to the court so that one of my assistants can talk to them or their lawyer and see how much money I can collect from them, including fees, court costs, and what have you, that are owing to the county and the state.
Yes, sir.
This item, I just really more to inform you.
All right, sir.
The other thing also is judges cannot prejudge, so they have to worry about judicial conduct commission complaints. So,
Right.
yes.
Commissioners,
Any other questions?
Judge.
Okay. Ray may have something, Judge.
Sure. Judge, Commissioners, just so we can be a little more clear on the purpose on the amnesty and the item B, the roundup program, I'd like to take a few minutes to just elaborate on that point. The purpose of the amnesty program that you see before you on item A is to encourage scofflaw offenders to pay their outstanding fees and fines with the incentive of having some leniency if paid during the 60-day grace period. The amnesty program will target offenders who owe outstanding fees and fines to the Justice of the Peace Courts that are over 90 days past due. During this temporary 60-day time frame, we encourage persons with outstanding fees and fines to go to the Justice of the Peace offices and resolve their pending matters. As the DA stated, if there are any problems, they can contact his office, specifically the hot check division, since the district attorney has sole discretion to dismiss pending traffic violations. The amnesty program will run from January 1st, 2014 through March 2nd, 2014. Item A seeks your support to proceed in an amnesty program with coordination from the district
What
attorney's
about the
office.
JPs? I mean, they are elected officials. We've got no authority to tell them what to do. How do we get around that?
Correct. I think what we're asking here, Judge, is simply to support the idea. We have spoken to all 9 justices of the peace, and they have confirmed that this is a good idea and that they will be participating in this amnesty program.
Right?
Item A
That-
just simply seeks support.
That's all of the JPs, all 8 or 9 of them?
All 9, yes, sir.
Commissioners?
Do we need to take action on this?
That's what, to endorse.
It's no action, Judge, Commissioners. We're just simply informing you of these.
If you don't want them to do it, though, we got to tell them, there's no sense in going forward. If we leave it alone, I guess you'll proceed with it.
That's correct. And this is,
Recommendation from the DA is
To continue with it.
It's actually, she's providing us with information.
in favor of doing it, or she recommended that there's problems with it?
I'm sorry?
If you just say, Rene, that's a good program, we're behind you, that's really all you need to say for the record. You don't need to vote or anything, but
So if we go and we authorize the implementation of it, you see no legal problem out there then?
no, sir.
All right.
Okay, Judge?
Yeah.
Thank you,
sir.
Judge, Commissioners. Item B is the second part of this agenda item, where the state of Texas has a Greater Texas Warrant Roundup program, and we're hoping to initiate this effort after the amnesty period. This program, administered by the state of Texas, Department of Public Safety, has been in use for over 6 years and gained notoriety as a successful statewide warrant enforcement effort. Every year, more than 240 law enforcement agencies and departments across Texas come together to find individuals who have active warrants as a result of not paying or settling their past due violations with the court. In the next 2 months, we will be working with the District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Department, the Justices of the Peace, and the county constables to coordinate a unified effort at targeting offenders who still owe these monies. Again, what the state does, Judge, by you all approving this item, item B, what the state will do is put us on the list of counties and cities that are gaining free advertisement statewide with respect to the warrant roundup program. As I stated, we will be coordinating with the District Attorney's Office and the other entities to ensure that statutorily we comply with all the letter of the law.
All right.
Obviously, the biggest question is going to be the criteria, and obviously, with the help of the District Attorney's Office, you're going to be able to itemize a list of potential people with
Violators.
warrants that would, yeah, my word of caution would be the one that, assure that the criteria is fair and we're actually going after people that we should be going after.
Yeah, and that'll be discussed at length, Commissioner. We'll make sure that we do target it.
Yes, work closely with our DA's office and whatever you do.
Yes, sir. So just need an approval for this
And
participation.
keep the court informed.
Yes, sir, we will.
And we'll entertain a motion to approve if that's what the desire of the court is. Or not.
Mr. Guerra, how do you feel about the item number F2?
I'm sorry, what was the motion, Commissioner?
Well, I was wanting to see if the district attorney would like to
Oh,
give an opinion in
okay.
regards to item F2.
That's fine. You just need to approve that we will participate.
That's correct. We're just asking your authorization to participate with the state in its statewide advertisement of the Greater Texas Warrant Roundup program.
All right.
So move.
And a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Is that on F2 only, Judge, or?
1 and 2.
Only F2? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Have a safe season. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Guerra. Mr. Villarreal, what item are you here on, sir?
Judge, I believe that he's here as a whole with respect to the HR action items. Ms. Esther?
Which item it's,
What item number is it?
let me find the agenda, Commissioner, Judge.
It's action item 8.
8C,
Yes, 8C.
item C, tax office.
8C?
AC.
Okay.
Okay.
The deletions are all vacant positions, and he's utilizing the dollars and creating 5, so he's utilizing it, he's utilizing the dollars in a more efficient manner. He's going to yield an additional slot to help us.
no budget change,
There- no, no.
Right, you're deleting 4 and creating 5.
Yes, correct.
With
For
the
the,
sa-
for the same
money.
amount of dollars.
Yes, smaller, they're more,
With the savings.
the savings of,
Move for
Move for approval.
Second of 1 and 2.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
thank you, and Merry Christmas, and
Merry
thank you for all the
Christmas to you.
support.
Thank you, Paul.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am.
The DA was here also on their items.
Who is?
Can we take it out of order?
Do you want to take the DA also?
All right.
He was here on his items.
What number is that?
And that would be H.
8H.
8H.
And there are quite a few.
It's approval to create the following temporary part-time positions not to exceed 6 months, beginning 1/1 of 2014 and ending on 6/30 of 2014. It's 3 Clerk 1 positions.
Move for approval of H 1, 2, and 3.
Second?
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
I is approval of 2014 pretrial intervention program budget in the amount of $337,120.05.
Move for approval of I 1 and 2.
Second?
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
J is approval of the following personnel action. Delete technician 1, slot 104, and create an technician 2. Create an administrative assistant 1, slot 107, the same salary.
Move for approval of J 1
1 and 2. Second?
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Approval to appropriate the 2014 bad checks fund budget, and approval of the following personnel actions, which is delete an administrative assistant 5, slot 7, and approval of the revised salary schedule.
Move for approval.
Second.
1, 2, and 3.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
K is approval to appropriate the 2014 District Attorney's Office Investigation HB 65 fund budget. And number 2 is approval to delete 1 full-time vacant criminal investigator.
Roy, we're going to do those separate as per legal counsel. Move for approval of item 1.
Second?
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 2 is approval to delete 1 full-time vacant criminal investigator 1, slot number 0058, budgeted at $35,000.
Move for approval.
Second?
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Approval of salary increase for various positions as listed on Exhibit A, effective 1/1 of 2014.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Approval to create 2 temporary part-time positions not to exceed 6 months, beginning 1/1 of 2014 and ending 6/30 of 2014.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Approval to waive posting of the positions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Can that happen, Steve? And we waive the posting?
Under what authority are you waiving posting?
What was that?
Under what authority are you waiving posting?
You're creating 2 positions. He's asking, under what authority?
Under what authority are you waiving posting?
Well, they're currently filled. We just want to move them over and continue employment.
They currently feel. I don't understand.
The expiration date, remember, when we take temporary positions that are created by court, they don't exceed 6 months and/or the end of the year. And so currently, there's still a need for these two positions at the district attorney's office. So that's why they're asking. just
All
to-
right.
so-
That's okay.
Those in
Okay.
favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Approval to change the employment status from full-time to part-time on slot 101, employee number 199923.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 7 is approval to create the following temporary part-time positions not to exceed 6 months, beginning 5/1 of 2014 and ending 10/31 of 2014.
Move for approval.
Second.
I noticed that all these hourly salaries, you're paying $9 an hour.
Yes, sir, they're temporary part-time positions.
Because I believe that the court sometime back passed a living wage amount that I thought was more than $9, maybe not. I don't remember. Do you remember, Esther?
I remember.
It's, Judge, it's slightly, yes, it's through, over the years and through the COLAs, it's $9 and it's a little over $9. Sergio, do you remember that number, 9?
I think it went from 850 to 9.
Well, should we not pay? I mean, that's what we had
Well,
agreed to pay.
if the court, if that's the action of the court, I mean, the court could take action saying that they're approving it with whatever the county's, at this point, minimum starting entry wage is. But it's a little over $9, slightly over $9.
$9.19.
$9.19, I'm sorry.
All right.
It's a little
Well,
more than that.
It'll add up, I guess.
Yeah, that does add up. So it's $9.19 is our minimum.
Do you have enough funding to cover that, Roy?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So
Need a
they'll be
motion.
at 919.
Move for approval at
Second.
9:19 an hour.
And on 7,
And
Item
approve
res-
the revised salary schedule.
okay, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
L is approval of appropriation of funds for the 2014 HIDA Task Force Chapter 59 Asset Forfeiture Fund.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Number 2 is approval of the following personnel actions effective 1/1 of 2014 to delete the criminal investigator 2 and adjust the intelligence research specialist salary from 37 to 35,885.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Number 3 is approval to redistribute cost allocations as follows, effective 1/1 of 2014. On the table, there's a correction to be made. The first one, redistribution rate, the proposed cost allocation should read 90%, not 100%.
Move for-
And right
for
under
approval.
that, it should be, instead of 19.35 for that same slot, same position, it should be, instead of 0%, it should be 10%.
Move for approval with adjustments as stated.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. That included number 4?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, Judge.
All right.
Approval of appropriation of funds for the 2014 HIDA e-sharing treasury fund.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Approval of 2014 HIDA e-sharing treasury fund overtime.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And approval of appropriation of funds for the 2014 HIDA e-sharing justice fund.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas.
This one, they approved on this temporary positions at $9. The very first one was approved, H1, they approved it at $9. We need an amendment to the 919.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to go back in. Okay, go ahead, take that item back up.
We have a correction.
We have a correction on item 8H.
8H.
The clerk positions were they're at $9, 2 of them, and one is at $8.47. We're gonna make it $9.19
$9.19.
each.
All across.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay, we need to rescind.
I'd like a motion to rescind my action on H1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Make a motion for approval of H1, 2, and 3 with the adjustment of all three being at 919.
Correct.
Second.
So the annual amount has to be adjusted?
Yes, sir.
To coincide with the 919?
All right.
On all
Those-
three?
the-
Yes, sir.
On all three.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's now go back to regular agenda items. Next, our consent agenda. Any concerns?
Oh, yeah.
I do not have any, Judge, unless somebody else has
Move for
any,
approval.
recommend approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Open forum, we have, first presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. In my experience of having been sued for divorce, I have heard a great deal about the power of the judge. It is my belief the importance would be in the integrity of the judge, the integrity to uphold existing laws. Our nation and our state have very good private property laws. Private property rights are protected by law. The judge does not have the legal authority to do as he chooses in his decisions concerning the division of private property owned by the spouses in a divorce action, unless, of course, he has the political clout to thumb his nose at existing property law. Political and the law are not synonyms. They are two very different things. When political turns into crime instead of law, it should be treated as crime. My statements are founded on public court records. Anyone can read the public records. Joe and I own community property that we bought and paid for and paid the taxes on for 50 years or more. The judge took away from us all of our community property with just one statement, 13 words. The community property is excess land with no value and cannot be divided. The judge took our property as if it was his to do with as he pleased. Trespassers have had no problem dividing and building on our community property while it is being held by the court. Since the judge's only job was a divorce settlement, there was one. The judge divided pure hot air, 41% and 59%. For my community property, I was awarded nothing, not one penny. The judge left me with a monthly annuity in the amount of $540.28. The annuity is not community property. The annuity is from Southwestern Bell Telephone Company, payable only after Joe's death. I also receive a Social Security check each month, which is not community property either. And that's it. That's what I got. I got none of and nothing for. And Joe got none of and nothing for any of our community property. A division of our community property in a fair divorce settlement did not happen. The court did nothing. The community property belongs to us. We own it. To keep me out of the way, I was confined to the house by court order, which is false imprisonment, a crime. We've all heard about the pumpkin eater. Peter Pumpkin Eater had a wife and couldn't keep her. Put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he keeps her very well, especially if he has the entire Mission Police Force and District Attorney's Office at his disposal.
You have less than a minute, ma'am.
This transparent bait-and-switch land grab is being laundered by the certification of the Secretary of State as the Billman Real Estate Ltd. Corporation. The community property of Joe and me and the Billman Real Estate Ltd. Corporation are not synonyms. I have asked many times, where is the Billman Real Estate Ltd. Corporation located? What do they do? What are their assets? And what is their phone number? So far, no one has ever told me. The Securities and Exchange Commission responded, they have no information about a Billman Real Estate LTD corporation. Thank you.
Next presenter is Maria Canto.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioner. My name is
Good morning.
My name is Maria Canto, and I'm here a little belatedly to thank you for permitting to increase our taxes. This year, we had the drainage tax and our property taxes.
And what?
Next year, we're going to have the bond, the STC bond, and more things that you are thinking about how to extract money out of taxpayers. Please think that we are a poor county, that we need a middle class. Try not to eradicate the middle class. This is what the power eradicates. We need better education, better businesses. We don't need burgers or along 107. We need a farm to make people, to have the young people get educated in technology. We don't need our kids in jail. Our jails are not enough to put our kids who come out of school. What is going on? We need next year, and this is probably too far in advance, my New Year resolution is, please do as New York City Mayor did, an inclusive taxpayer voting when you're planning on the budget. Ask the taxpayers' worries and concerns. What do we need in our county so we can be a better county? See, not a county bleeding in red ink because we want a building or we want a better city hall when our streets are full of holes, where code enforcement in the cities are not enforced. So we need to do a better job, and we need the taxpayers to come and complain. Not complain, just give you our concerns. And because of lack of code enforcement and a good job, they become complaints. So we need a better future for our kids. We are a young county, a poor county. Thank you. My next year wish list is, please take the taxpayer in consideration. Don't ask for a 5% increase in your budget salaries every year, because we don't get that every year. Not even the minimum payment salary gets a 5% increase every year. And we are a county based basically in minimum salaries. Thank you, and I wish you the best. I wish you have a lot of posadas, enjoy life, and get a lot of salsa eating and dancing. Thank you.
Next presenter is Gracie Cerda, or Garcia, I'm sorry. Okay, we've got you on the regular agenda, that's good. I think it's coming up, item 6A, is that it?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. We have a discussion, consideration, approval of letter of support for Ocean Trust and the South Padre Island EDC. We have Gracie Garcia with Beta Reina and Associates to elaborate on the letter of support.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning,
and
Ms.
Commissioners. I'm here to represent Ocean Trust. It's a nonprofit organization from Virginia. They have partnered with South Padre Island EDC in the construction of the Gulf of Mexico Nature Center, and it's going to include 3 facilities: the Nature Center, the Fishery and Marine Center, and the existing birding center. So the letter of support is to ask EDA for their support of $1.5 million in funding for the construction of this project.
All right, are there any questions?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bobby, I just signed it, so she can take it back with her. Okay, item 11C, we have a 10:30 agenda item, and it's about that time.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Merry Christmas to each of you and everyone out viewing the Commissioners Court today. My name is Eddie Olivares. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer for Hidalgo County Health and Human Services, and I also am here on behalf of for a public hearing under the Hidalgo County Health Care Funding District, Judge. And Hidalgo County Commissioners Court is acting as their board for this event. So for today, sir, what I'd like to do is I'd like to just basically, just for the record, read the announcement, and then we'll proceed with the hearing itself. It says, a public announcement for public hearing, Hidalgo County Commissioners Court, City's Hidalgo County Health Care Funding District will hold a public hearing on December 20th, 2013 at 10:30 a.m. in the City of Edinburgh Council Chambers, 415 West University Drive, Edinburgh, Texas, to hear public comments or concerns concerning the amount of mandatory payment requirement to be paid by paying hospitals for fiscal year 2014 and how the revenue diverted from those payments is to be spent. Representatives of the paying hospitals and public wishing to be heard on these matters may appear before Commissioners Court at that hearing. That was the public announcement that went forward.
All right, at this time, under item C1, we're going to convene a public hearing related to the Healthcare Funding District to consider public comments concerning the amount of mandatory payments required to be paid by paying hospitals for fiscal year 2014 and how the revenue derived from those payments is to be spent.
Let me pass this out. This is also part of your packet already. Judge, I'd like to, the purpose of today's meeting is to review our 2013-2014 funding levels involving our Hospital Participation Fund, which is part of Senate Bill 1623, which oversees, which participates in being able to obtain the federal matching funds to assist in providing the various indigent healthcare programs within the community, but along with supporting the future residency programs and support programs in affiliation with the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley's medical school in the future, and getting that collaboration in place. The first item on the agenda, sir, is the public hearing considering. Let me go over some basic numbers for you. What we're looking at, we have 9 hospitals that are part of Hidalgo County Taxing Funding District. Each of those hospitals is, by Senate Bill 1623, is required to participate in the Hospital Participation Fund. The Hidalgo County Tax Office, Mr. Verdial and his team, are charged to collect that fund from each of the hospitals. And just for the record, I'm going to name the hospitals that are listed: Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, Knapp Medical Center, Mission Regional Medical Center, Rio Grande Regional Hospital, Edinburgh Regional Medical Center, Cornerstone Regional Hospital, Life Care Hospital of South Texas, Westico Rehab Hospital, and Solera Hospital McAllen Limited Partnership. Those are the 9 facilities that are responsible to contribute.
Where is Solera Hospital at?
Solera's here just south, right off of Trenton, isn't it? I think, right? Right off of Trenton, yeah. It's a small hospital.
Yes.
And so those are the 9 that we're looking at, sir.
What this graph that you presented to us shows that collectively, all these 9 hospitals generate $1,276,267,537 in revenue, but together.
That's correct, sir.
Together.
That is correct.
And then the second category says payment rate of 3.5%, or
that's the recommendation that we're going to be making for the Commissioners Court to consider a 3.5% payment rate, which would yield of $44,669,363.80.
That's the second, for the 44 million, that's what they're going to be paying in.
That's correct, sir.
$44,669,363.80.
Correct, sir.
And they're going to do it in quarterly amounts of the total $11,167,340.95.
Correct, sir. And then there's that 20,000 figure, that is the fee that would be the administrative fee that would be collected by Mr. Verial's office at the tax office, and that would be for Hidalgo County and Mr.
That'd be
Verial's.
the 20,000 administrative fee. Is that for the, is that a one-time fee? Or-
That's a one-time per year collection fee. So next year it would go again, and the following year it would go again.
It's going to be deducted from this number, right, Eddie?
That's correct, sir.
And they will give you the money or the district?
Mr. Verial's office will be the ones that they would collect it, and then they would submit it into an account as designated by Mr. Ofracio and Ms. Garcia as the county treasurer, and then that money would be forwarded to HHSC for multiplying.
All right, then it comes back and then we distribute it accordingly.
To the hospitals. That is
Prorated.
correct. The state would distribute it accordingly to the hospitals.
Yeah, once it's sent over to the state takes care of everything
Right.
else.
Once it's handed over to the state, Mr. Ofracio is 100% correct. The state is the one that distributes the money to the hospitals directly. But it's important to bring out, sir, this money is not just money that's going to go into their coffers. This is money that's designated for specific programming. For example, Doctors Hospital has 12 projects that they've submitted. Knapp Medical has 1 project. South Texas Hospital has 10 projects. And Rio Grande Regional Hospital, or HCA, has 7 projects. Those projects involve a multitude of issues dealing with residency programs for internal medicine, residency programs for surgical suites or surgical component, working with the medical school in the future, consists of diabetic and diabetes, obesity programming. Also consists of working closely with Hope Clinic, which is an indigent care, all indigent care clinic in McAllen, works closely with Milagro Clinic as well. So we will work very closely with various other components that support the indigent care community as well.
So these monies will provide better health care to our local residents.
That is correct, sir. So we're looking
And
at,
the monies are going to be sent, and the multiplier effect is what, 1.5 like it is in the ULP?
that is approximately 1.5, sir. Yes, of course, the final number is determined by CMS, Medicaid, Medicare, but that is the average percentage of about 1.5 times the amount
All right.
for a total that would generate $100,673,409 based on the $44 million collected.
All right, let me ask for the public, if there's anybody here in the
We have
public.
hospital representatives here. I'd like for them to come forward and introduce themselves along with anybody else from the public.
All right, is there anybody here that has any comments, one way or the other?
Israel Roach with Doctors Hospital at Renaissance, and we're in favor of the proposal.
Yes, sir.
Lorenzo Olivares, CFO for South Texas Health System.
Welcome, sir.
Good morning. I'm Tim McVeigh, the CFO from Mission Regional Medical Center.
Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning. My name is Chris Rivera. I'm the CEO at Rio Grande Regional Hospital.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Ms. Rivera. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Dan Perez. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for the Westaco Rehab Hospital.
Welcome, sir. Is there anybody here that desires to make any comments? Right now is the time. We're at a public hearing. There appear to be none. We'll close the public hearing and proceed to item B, C1B.
Correct, sir. Item B is consideration and possible approval of mandatory payment to be assessed quarterly by Hidalgo County Health Care Funding District on the net patient revenue of institution healthcare providers and how the revenue diverted from this payment is to be spent. So that item requires action, and that is the hospitals indicated are the 9 hospitals that you have on your chart, along with the fees indicated in place.
You recommend that, Eddie?
Yes, sir. This is highly recommended to advance the healthcare needs of our
Move for
community
approval.
and work with the medical school as well.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C, sir, is consideration and possible approval for Hidalgo County Tax Assessor Collector to collect the mandatory payments required by Hidalgo County Health Care Funding District. And just to repeat for the record, we're looking at a total of the 9 facilities adding up to $44,669,363.80, sir. And also the additional $20,000 for the administrative fee.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Eddie, on agenda item B, it says how to, the revenue derived from those payments is to be spent. Is there anything that attached to the agenda that details
On
all
the
of that?
packet, there was an actual, Doreen and my team sent the actual revenue report. It's the same one as last time I spoke with Ms. Fong. She had it, and she reviewed it yesterday, so she has a copy of it. It's the same report from 2010.
So it's not this right here?
No, I gave her that, but she actually has the actual revenue collections form from the hospitals. That's part of the original packet from when we did this back in September, and she has that original one. It's the same one we're using. That's the guidelines we're following.
All right, thank you.
Other questions, Judge, Commissioner? Oh, sorry.
Let me see if, I think there was a typo, just to have it on the record.
Introduce yourself.
I'm sorry, Carlos Safirini on
Yes,
behalf
sir.
of the hospitals. I think there was a typo in this spreadsheet. It has Mission Hospital listed at 361 million in revenue. That's incorrect. The two rows got reversed. And it's actually McAllen Hospitals that has that revenue. And
I'm
Mission
sorry,
Hospital-
what is the correct number after Mission Hospital?
Mission Hospital is 115 million.
Yeah,
That 115.
Yeah.
So those
Yeah.
two got reversed.
They got reversed. That's our error, sir.
Is it a straight 150 or 150?
115,426,693.
All right. Does that change the other figures?
No, the total figures are the same. We will send a revised version with the correction on it, sir. That was an error on my part.
All right. Item D? Yes.
Judge, Commissioners, with that reversal and in lieu of this chart being handed out, for the record, we probably should go back and rescind that action and.
Rescind what action?
Rescind the action, item C. No, item B, right?
Yeah,
Item
it's
B.
C1B.
C1B, rescind that action
So-
and reapprove it based upon the chart as
Based on the
corrected.
correction.
Yeah, can,
Well,
I
we
think that- I
didn't, we
think
didn't
we
lay
may
out
have
the
done a
figure.
and some of these may have been inverted, but
Yeah, rescind 2B and then redo the same action with the corrections.
With the corrections noted.
Yeah.
All right. Motion, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
But it does not impact the total number
Excuse
at
me.
the end.
Eddie,
But then we gotta vote for it, no?
do we need to go
Now
back?
we need to vote to
Yeah, with the
approve
correction.
the sheet as corrected.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Clear.
Okay, thank you. And then item C, was there action taken on item C? Consideration possible approval of Hidalgo County Tax Assessor Collector collect the mandatory payments required by Hidalgo County Health Funding District? Was
for
action
approval.
taken on C?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
On item D, sir, considering approval to assess mandatory payment and set assessment date.
Oh, yeah, let me, okay, get into that, sure. We've been looking at the statute to get comfortable with the best way to proceed with this. What we recommend and hope that the court will consider is that they set the annual rate, which you just did, and then the payments would be due at the end of each quarter, state fiscal year quarter. So the first two quarters would actually be done at the end of February or March, just depending on how the state gives us some feedback.
So quarterly payments state-based or federal-based?
State.
So the first quarter ends in November 30th?
So we just have to do a catch-up payment.
It was not October as we had discussed already?
I'm sorry?
November 30th.
Eddie and I had a discussion earlier, he was saying October 1st, but should be November 30th, the first quarter?
November 30th of this year?
Or 2013 is the end of the first quarter?
Right,
and
so
then
we can do the
February-
first two, what the other counties did was made the first two payments due at the end of the second quarter, and then the third and fourth came along.
You want to lay out the dates?
Sure.
What's the second one? February what?
I guess,
It'll be February, I don't have the date with me.
Judge, my understanding was that they were going to bring another agenda item with the dates and the amounts, not Eddie, or are you going to do it at this point?
We could do that, but if we could set the dates today, we'd.
Well, we've got the amounts, we just
yeah,
need the
I mean,
dates.
We will send the dates. We've actually been dealing with the state on some issues regarding how to collect this. They've asked us to administer it in a certain way, and so we're working to try and get them comfortable. We're submitting a report to them at the end of the, I guess, mid-January is what they asked for, that illustrates all of this, and so it's kind of delayed us a bit, but we should be able to get that to you, I mean, next week if you want it. That's no big deal, if that's not a problem.
We could bring it on either the 7th or on the 14th in January, but we didn't have the exact dates because we're still trying to work things out with the state and making sure that's all in place. Again, this is very fluid. This is, even as we speak today, we're working on projects and doing different things. So there's a lot of fluidity to this, and that's the way the state and the federal government work. So
We
have
wanted to
adapt.
get this done in October, but if we had done it in October, I think Eddie felt very strongly about getting the projects that he listed earlier into the LPPF. And if we had done it in October, there was no way that would have been accomplished. And it would have been a straight, no services, really. And so we wanted to find ways to do it. It pushed us back a little bit. We can't control the state deadlines.
Are you suggesting that we take no action on D and bring it back in?
On D.
In
On
January?
D. Consideration approval and sets mandatory payment.
No. I think that we're comfortable with the rate itself. What we do have to clear up is just, I want to reconfirm this and set.
And it's also set assessment
The
date.
payment date.
Yeah, maybe that's okay. We have the rate set.
Yeah, the rate is
So-
set.
Yeah, so if we could pen that and come back in a couple weeks.
Item D, where we could actually have the date for collection, but long as for the record, the rate was set at 3.5%. We got the total collection rates. We have everything broken down by hospital. The only thing is, the actual collection rate, would have to work with Mr. Varela and his team to collect the money in place. After that is collected, then we'd come back and Mr. Ufracio would certify that the money was collected and put in place, and then we would go from
At
there.
that point, that's when we pay.
Right.
Because I think you already got approval for Mr. Villarreal to collect the fee.
Right.
You already set the rate. It's just a matter of collecting it.
And we'll get those.
Certify it and pay it out.
We'll bring those dates in January for the collection date, again, once we work it out with the state. But at that point, there's going to be a series of 2 other actions, the collection date, and then also the certification that Mr. Ufracio do once the money is collected from Mr. Varela.
So assessment date is going to be different than collection date?
Yes.
Yes.
So the question is, do you want action on D to set the assessment date, or do you want to bring that back in January
Bring it
also?
back.
On D, we'll bring it back,
Okay.
because we're pending to hear from the state on D.
It'd be better.
D is in David, right, on
right.
setting the assessment.
If you all are comfortable with it.
All right, no action then on C1D. And let's proceed to item 2, C2.
Pardon me? I didn't hear the question, Judge.
Can we move on to the next item?
Yeah, on C2, discussion and action including but not limited to indigent healthcare district, funding district, and expenditures. We have no other items in this area. The only thing, Judge, is that we're going to bring some items come in January on, we're going to have to look at some staffing patterns involving the district with these new projects we're getting in place. There's going to be a total of 96 different projects. We're looking at adding a couple of staff to our funding district team, and we would use our 1115 monies that was brought in and multiplied that's in our coffers in the county to subsidize that fund. It would not come from general fund. It would come from the 1115 money to help with the operations of this program that's expanding
Eddie,
doubles pretty
do we
quickly.
get a multiplier on the 20,000?
Sir, you would have to discuss that question with Mr. Crane, sir. He's nodding his head no, sir. He's nodding his head no.
All right.
I understand. But there is no other question, sir, on that item.
You want to take care of the last item?
Yes, sir. I have a couple of items, sir, if you give me the discretion. 11A, and I'll just go back in order on there. Under 11A is approval to appropriate health administration budget in the amount of $150,000 for the period of January 1st, 2014 to January 31st. This is a part of our program income budget that we submit for review and approval from the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court. A lot of that money we'll use to buy equipment, to pay about $45,000 worth of salaries to be able to deal with our operations, and that is money we generate, we develop. It is not coming from the general fund.
Move for approval 11A, 1 and 2.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 11B, sir, is requesting approval to accept the CPS Hazards Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant Contract 2014001134-01. The purpose of this amendment is to add language to the statement of work, updating programmable reporting requirements, FSR, and B13A added updates, special provisions, plus updates on Exhibit A and B. Effective date would be December 20th, 2014. The state of Texas has gone electronic, sir, so all our FSRs, all our reporting is now all electronic based, so our contract's been amended indicating that we have to submit everything electronically. That's
All
the
right.
difference in that contract.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
We did everything on item C, sir. We move on to item D, is discussion and action involving, including but not limited to indigent healthcare program, 1115 waiver and expenditure, sir. At that point, I have no questions or comments on this area unless you have any questions for me, sir.
No action on that one then.
Very good, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
Eddie.
I'd like to commend Direne Sarmiento and her team for their outstanding work, Mr. Varial, Mr. Eufrasio, Mr. Cruz, and everyone who's helped diligently to work this along with all our hospital partners in the community. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, and Mr. Rivera.
Merry Christmas.
Say,
On item 7,
Thank you, Judge Commissioners. There's no action item under item 7A, 1 and 2, unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. Item B, we don't have a presentation per se on the renovation of the old administration building, but I do want to bring the court up to speed on emergency situation occurring since last agenda, and it's related to the building construction renovation projects, the modular building project that we had. We had a bit of an issue with the gate system. One of our gates, some bearings and a couple sprockets on the automatic gate gave. So we have remedied the situation. We did get the vendor on, contacted the vendor. It is under warranty. We've got the parts. It is being worked on, but I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that I have asked purchasing for assistance. We are going to relook at the specs for that gate system to make sure that it was, for lack of the right terminology, but engineered properly with respect to weight, the opening and closing, because again, we've had it for a short while, and we've already had some bearings and a sprocket that was worn. So we're going to relook at that design, but it is being taken care of by our vendor.
Valde, I know you covered B, but I was told that the contractor still had not been provided with the plans.
Stan I just saw him in the audience. I know that we were in communication with Mr. Alcocer. He was already providing the last piece of the puzzle, and that was the MEPs. That's what was pending. Judge, if you'll afford me just a few minutes, and then I'll come back to that item. Let me talk to
I mean,
to
that
Stan.
we've had 2 years. And
Right. No, I
we've
understand.
been
Right.
bringing it up and bringing it up.
Right. There was a couple of redesigns, but just give me a few minutes. I'll get with Stan, and
Va a
I'll
subir
come
el
back to this
precio,
item. We can come back to this item in
Va a
a
subir el
second.
precio, según gusta. All right, we'll move on to your next item then.
7D, we've already acted on 7C. 7D, Judge, this is an annual occurrence. This is under the Article 81.005, and this is a term of the Commissioner's Court, or as stated in the article, terms of the court meetings. This is under our local government code, so I'm asking the court to consider and enter an order into the minutes so that we can designate a day of the week of the month for our Commissioner's Court regular term meetings. And so for the week of the month, I'm asking the court to designate the last week of every month to be the regular week.
for the business,
Yes, the last week of the month. That would be one. The day of the week, unless the court chooses otherwise, I would entertain that we continue using Tuesday as our day of the week. And the time of the day, for 2014, I would, again, continue to use the same time format for our regular Commissioners Court to commence at 9:30 a.m.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item E, Judge Commissioners, I'm asking consideration and action to extend the enrollment period of the sick leave pool. There is one department out there, Community Service Agency, that has not participated. I've been working with Ms. Cortez's office, and we're inquiring as to why a decision was made years ago that they would not participate. So I'm asking to extend the enrollment period through the end of the year. We're working also with Atlas and Hall on the legality, because the understanding that we have is, since CSA is a funded program and not a general fund department, that they were not able to participate. That doesn't make any sense to us, because I know Head Start participates in a sick leave pool, so, and WIC participates in the sick leave pool. Those are grant-funded dollars, and so I'm asking the court just to extend through the end of the year, and that'll also give us an opportunity. There was four or five departments that were just shy of the 100% completion. They had some individuals that were out either on sick leave or they were on annual leave, and I'd like to...
How much time, how much of an extension?
Just through the end of the year.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, if I may, Valde,
Yes, sir.
if we have a chance to look at the criteria that is being used for the approval of anybody applying under the extended sick leave pool,
I'm sorry, Commissioner?
take a look at the language for the purpose of establishing this particular.
Oh, yes. Actually, I had a meeting, budget, myself and Esther had a meeting last week, late last week. Yes, that issue did come up, and again, there's communication with Ms. Valerie Glass from Atlas and Hall with respect to the definitions
Yes.
contained herein. Yes,
Okay.
no, we are doing that, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Item F, Judge Commissioner, I'm asking authority to sign the inspection response form from Texas Department of License and Regulation, and this is their compliance division, architectural barriers for the elections warehouse.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item G, Judge Commissioners, is we're asking approval of revised general no litigation and signature identification certificate of the Hidalgo County, Texas, regarding the RMA Series 2013 bonds. This was approved a week ago, I believe, or a couple weeks ago. There was some additional language that was inserted. Legal has looked at it. Mr. Crane has looked at it and sees absolutely no issues with the additional two statements. So I'm asking approval for that revised general no litigation signature identification.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners, and I will get back on that issue that you brought up, Judge.
All right. 8A,
Good morning, Judge Commissioners.
good morning.
Under 8A for the Elections Department, and we have discussion, consideration, and approval to create the following 10 temporary full-time positions not to exceed 6 months, effective 1/1/2014 through 6/30/2014. And they're election clerks at $8,818 a year.
Move for approval of A.
Judge, Commissioners, I want to make sure one thing, Sergio, the 8818, is that the equivalent of $9.19 an hour?
No, it's 847.
Okay, so Judge Commissioners, I want to, if the court will allow that if the court approves this, that it be at $9.19 an hour, since we've established that is our entry.
That's our base.
Our base, so
847?
with making that correction, $9.19 an hour, and whatever that dollar amount is, we'll make sure that we adjust the numbers accordingly.
Move for approval with the correction to 919.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Is that for 1, 2, and 3? The
1, 2, and 3.
Okay, and yes, it was for 1, 2, and 3. And Judge Commissioners, there is no agenda item on there with respect to a waiver of posting, but what I am going to ask Well, what I'm going to inform the court is I'm going to work with the Elections Department. We're going to go ahead and I'll do the proper language. We'll work with Atlas and Hall. I want to go ahead and post those positions commencing today, effective for 1/1, but it'll allow the Elections Department to get that process out of the way because she's got a March primary, and then we'll address the balance of the year. So again, we'll put a disclaimer on there. We're just going to start the process a little earlier.
Are you going to be able to cover the November election is, 9 months.
Right.
Yes, sir, and we will come back in June.
Oh, you'll come back and get
yes,
another
Yes, sir, we will come
extension.
back in June. It's only allowed for 6 months. If I could do the 12 months, then of course
Yeah, I understand.
would certainly do that.
If we could have
Court's approval?
Okay, yes, that we took action on 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll work on the posting.
Okay.
Now, item B.
Okay, item B, under the Sheriff's Department, approval of the following personnel actions effective next full pay period, 12/30/13, and calendar year 2014. Delete clothing allowance for slot 137 at $500 and add clothing allowance to slot 189, $500, and approval of the revised salary schedule.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I believe C has been taken care of. D, Criminal Auxiliary Court, approval to create the following full-time position effective 12/30/13 and calendar year 2014. It's the approval to create the following position, the slot 5, a bailiff at $36,050, proposed longevity $1,200, and proposed interpreter pay of $6,000.
Judge, Commissioners, if I may, if I can just add a little more to that. This is the court, the grant funds that we've been using for the auxiliary court. As the years go by, the funding gets less and less. And so at this point, it's time to transfer or for the general fund to pick up this part. We still have funds available under the grant that will continue to pay for another position. But again, the grant award has gotten a little less every year. And so this is to continue the operations of the auxiliary court. I will let the court know that I did speak to Judge Rudy Delgado, and I will be meeting with him in the new year, and we're going to be discussing the auxiliary court operation in general. And then we'll come back to Commissioner's Court with an update as to the operations of the auxiliary court and the number of staff and so forth. Yes, for 2014.
Move for approval, 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. This was not budgeted then?
Yeah, yes, sir.
But
It was budgeted, but the grant funds is not sufficient, and so we're transferring over to the general fund, and I've talked to Sergio, and Sergio says that they will
These
make
are new monies for salaries.
under the general fund.
Well,
They're-
yes, that's what
right,
we
under
work
the
with.
general fund, but they're not new slots.
Well, they've always had a bailiff. Why are we creating a position of
No,
bailiff?
because we have to create the position under the general fund now and take it
Oh,
out of the grant.
But it's the
slot.
same person?
It's the same person, yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Under the JAG grant, approval to delete the following full-time position effective 12/31/13 and calendar year 2014. G2 slot, bailiff, $39,786, longevity pay at $1,200, and the interpreter pay at $6,000.
This is the other side of the coin, Judge. Now we're deleting it from the grant side.
All right.
Move for approval 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under E, Planning Department, approval to create 2 full-time positions as follows, effective 1/1/2014. It's slot 22, GIS Clerk 2 at $23,695, and slot 23 at GIS Clerk, $23,695 also.
Move for
Move
approval V
approval.
1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under the IT Department, approval to delete 1 full-time vacant position as follows, effective 1/1/2014. It's to delete the GIS Operator 4, slot 25 at $52,132.
Move for
Approval of the revised salary schedule.
Of 1 and 2.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Under G, Precinct 2 Sanitation and Precinct 2 CRC, approval of the following personnel actions effective 1/1/2014, to delete 2 positions, slot 1 and 6, an office clerk at $29,761, and in slot 6, an attendant at $27,830, to create Precinct 2 CRC San Juan, slot number 7, Clerk 1 at $20,592, and to create Precinct 2 CRC Alamo, slot 5, Clerk 1 at $20,592. And approval of the interdepartmental transfer and the revised salary schedule.
Move for approval 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, I believe the next item is M, assessment.
M, under Precinct 3, Road Maintenance, approval to create the following full-time temporary position, not to exceed 6 months, beginning 1/1/2014, ending at June the 30th, 2014.
And Judge Commissioners, just as, again, since we've established a new base, the dollar amount is, it's a temporary, part-time at 1,040 hours, so at 919, the dollar amount is $9,557.60.
Move for
$9,557.60.
approval of M 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Second.
As
With the
stated.
correction.
As stated for
With
the
the
record, yes.
corrections.
And I have talked to Mr. Cruz, and we will make the proper adjustment.
All right, that was, what
1, 2,
particular?
3, and 4.
M.
We just need a
What
One,
was the
two-
number again?
I'm sorry?
The number of the item?
M.
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 M1.
All right, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I think that's all I have. Thank you very much, and happy
Merry
holidays to
Christmas.
you all.
Say to you.
Judge, Mr. Osuna, if I may, Judge, Commissioners,
Yes.
going back to that update under my item, I've just been informed that the MEPs will be delivered to Mr. Wilson today. And that's what
And you know, that's going to cause us to have to pay more money.
the,
There's going to be an increase in the cost. and
right, there is an increase, and it was $6,170, I believe.
But it was a result of the delay on the part of whom? I thought.
Well, no, I'm talking about, well, the actual work that was done to produce the MEPs. But yes, Judge, there will be an adjustment. Now, we will be coming back to court and doing an extension of the number of days because we have a ending date on the project, so we will extend it by the appropriate number of days.
All right.
But we'll do it in the beginning of the year. But again, the MEPs will be delivered to Mr. Wilson today.
All right, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Item 9, our Sheriff's Office.
Good day, Judge, Commissioners, Richard Ozuna on behalf of the Sheriff of Hidalgo County, Lupe Trevino. Item 9A, is requesting approval for reimbursement to one of the employees, Francisco Sanchez, the amount of $10. He had to pay for fuel out of his own pocket on one of the gas stations on one of the county-owned vehicles, bad fuel gauge.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
That's all I have.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Item 10, our District Clerk.
Hi, good morning, Judge and Commissioners.
Good
Mayra
morning.
Rangel on behalf of District Clerk Laura Hinojosa. We are requesting a public hearing regarding the proposed increases in the Records Archive fee and Records Management and Preservation fee in accordance with House Bill 1513 enacted by the Texas Legislature during the 83rd regular legislative session.
All right, at this time, we're going to convene a public hearing to consider the proposed increases in the Records Archive fee and Records Management and Preservation fee. Is there, can you tell us what the increases are going to be so I can see if anybody objects to them?
The increase is from $5 to $10.
All right, is there anyone here that desires to speak in favor of or against?
For both fees?
Yes.
All right, at this time, we're going to close the hearing. Nobody having any desire to speak. Go ahead and proceed to item 2.
Okay. Discussion, consideration, and approval of temporary increases in the Records Archive fee and the Records Management and Preservation fee in the amount of $10 per applicable filing effective January 1st, 2014 through September 1st, 2019.
Have you all posted notice? I'm sorry, I should have asked a question earlier. But,
Yes, there was a
y'all
notice
posted notices
posted.
there at the district clerk's office?
Yes.
So people are aware of the potential change?
Yes.
Okay.
So the increase is not $10, the fee is gonna be increased to $10, right?
Yeah.
That's correct, from $5 to
Because
$10.
it reads increase in the amount of $10, but it's not, we're not increasing it by 10.
Do I hear a second?
Yeah, it's from 5 to 10.
5 to 10.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Approval of the revised preservation and restoration plan in accordance with Subchapter D, Chapter 51 of the Texas Government Code, which reflects the temporary fee increases pursuant to House Bill 1513.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Renan.
Yes, item 12.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. I'm requesting 12A, requesting approval for the following claims and invoices with the authority for the county treasurer to issue a payment after the review by the auditor as listed. The first item is, as an explanation, we've met with the auditor, with purchasing, and with legal counsel to get these properly addressed so there are no concerns by the auditor's office. There's a line item on the bill that can't be verified, so that's why they're claimed. So I'm requesting approval on 12A.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
12B, this is the long distance of the West Laclo Health Department clinics, and for some reason we were getting a bill from AT&T when it should be DAR, so that's not verifiable either. We're working to resolve that situation, but in the meantime, we need to get that bill paid, and that is 12B.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good morning.
Item 13.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Item 13A is for the HIDA Task Force. They're requesting approval of claims from Superior Alarm with the authority for the county treasurer to issue payment after auditing procedures have been completed. It's in the total amount of $400.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Item 14, Urban County.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Our first item on the agenda is 14A, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262.024 for professional engineering services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court of at least 3 engineering firms for a City of La Jolla project for street improvements. The 3 engineering firms that were graded are Hinojosa Engineering with a grade of 93.67, Quintanilla Headley and Associates with a grade of 93.34, and Perez Consulting Engineers with a grade of 87.67.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item A3 is the authority to negotiate a professional engineering services contract with the #1 ranked firm of Hinojosa Engineering.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is a request on behalf of the City of Wesco requesting authority to purchase puzzle computer desks for the public library. The purchase will be made from Brodart Company, contract number 407-12, an approved vendor through Hidalgo County's membership with the State of Texas Buy Board. The amount of the purchase is $4,667.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Our final item is on behalf of the City of Elsa requesting authority to purchase playground equipment for the Mario Leal Park. The purchase will be made from American Parks Company, contract number 423-13, an approved vendor through the State of Texas Buy Board. The amount of the purchase will be $65,250.80, including installation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Amanda Valdez. Item 15A, requesting approval of the following claim invoice with the authority for the county treasurer to issue payment/check after review, audit, and processing procedures are completed by the county auditor. Invoice date, vendor amount is October 3rd, and it's for the Alba Bakery at 160.
Move for approval.
Second.
What was this for?
This was for a meeting that we had in our office. We had, it was a training, it was a safety training, I'm sorry, November.
For the general election for the.
Yes, first of all, I think that's very appropriate.
Yes.
Second, I think we ought to have it, to be able to have these kind of items approved whenever we honor somebody here at the court, at the Commissioner's Court, or have a function, a reception where we have we're honoring individuals or hosting some kind of an event. I've noticed that you approved this one, Mr. Eufrasio, maybe we can,
Well, as I had reminded you in the past, Judge, there's a county policy that dictates what amounts are to be paid for food purchases. So if he complies with the policy, we have to pay it, because Commissioner's Court has approved the policy.
Judge, in
And
short,
if he doesn't, he doesn't.
if there isn't a policy for it, I think the court should consider a policy.
Yeah.
let's consider one and get it.
I agree.
There's a policy already in place.
But we can amend it, if we can look.
Oh, it's your policy.
Mike, why don't you look at that policy and let us know what it says and see if it's appropriate.
But I echo the same sentiments, Judge. I think if the county is holding functions and things like that, we're honoring people, we should review the policy to where we can be able to do such a thing.
All right, well, those in favor, 15A, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. Item 15B is discussion, consideration, and approval of March 4th, 2014 primary election early voting poll locations. And you are receiving the calendar for your FYI, noting while you receive that March 4th is the primary election day, with early voting beginning February 18th and running through February 28th. Very, very important to note that the Military and Overseas Voter Empowerment Act, which is MOVE, military and overseas ballot has to be ready by January 18th. That means that everything has to be in its place and ready to go by January 18th. So the first item is the approval of the early voting location sites.
Let me make a comment before the commissioners vote on it. Commissioner Precinct 3 sent a notice that he's in favor of the change that occurred here was there was an addition of the Peñitas location,
Yes, sir.
and that there's no need for the La Jolla location, that there's some problem with it that he sees. It's unfortunate he's not here today to explain it, but his concern is that we need the Peñitas location, but not the La Jolla one.
That would then leave La Jolla without a poll location, and that is served to be a viable location, but it's what this court would approve. Certainly, every location that is added adds more poll workers, adds more cost to our budget. So this is what had been submitted.
What is the wishes of the court?
So he's requesting that we consider another location?
He just wants to eliminate that one, or what?
He wants to eliminate that one, perhaps consider another location there, I'm not sure.
Can that be
And
done,
I don't know
or-
if Mingo's here.
We're already
No.
we're starting the programming as soon
Why
as
don't
this
we
is approved.
approve all of the other locations with
Subject to that?
yes, and then on January 7th, come in and discuss that one, and Commissioner will be here, or we'll get some information from him.
Just keeping in mind, Judge, that my military ballot has to be gone by January 18th. So this afternoon, as soon as this is approved.
No, this is the early voting location, not the ballot.
The locations have to be in place in order for us to begin programming of the sites. Everything has to be in order. When a ballot is programmed and printed, that means everything is in order, because the machines have to be allocated to that particular poll
All right,
location.
if we do it on the 7th of January, is that enough time?
No, sir. January 18th, they have to be gone. That means that by the time we program, then we have to print, we have to sort, we've got to get ready for mailing. That gives us 11 days. And that includes weekends, which we work anyway, but
Judge, if you need time, if you want to put a special meeting together on this particular day, I'll make myself
Okay.
available for one if
All right.
need be to get.
Maybe we can set a meeting sometime between Christmas and New Year, that particular week.
Well, can you get him by phone?
We
would
can
you
do
like,
it.
maybe we can call him and I can come
Actually,
back?
why don't we do that? Why don't we delay your item?
Why
and
don't
I'll
you
come back?
call him?
Okay.
Why don't you make a phone call?
Okay,
and
let me
talk
call
to him.
and I'll come back.
Let him explain it, and then you come in and tell us what your
Perfect.
recommendation is.
Okay, I'll be back. So what is the correct term?
Table it for now.
Yes. We're not going to act on it, we'll get back to your item.
Excuse me, just for the record, on item 15A, it's not 160, it's 150.67, and it's reflected on the attachment, on the invoice that is on the item.
67.
So you all approved 160, but it's actually 150.67.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to pay 150.67 anyways, but
Yeah.
I guess for the
Okay.
record, it is 150.67.
Okay.
We,
Need a motion to approve 16A1?
Pretty good.
we already did.
Oh, yeah.
Quick.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Norma, you're on item 16A2. We've already
Okay.
approved one.
It's already been approved.
Number one is, you're on item number 2.
Yes.
Number 2, it's requesting ratification of payments for the following invoices from Argus for the months of July through August 2013, due to the contract expired on June 22nd, 2013, as per auditors.
Move for approval.
Gracias.
Sure.
Any concerns there on the two?
On 16A1, no, sir, not
Two.
Yeah, no,
Check.
no concerns at all.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas
Merry
and a Happy
Christmas.
New Year to all.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item, 17.
Judge,
Yes.
being that this is the last meeting of the year for this Commissioner's Court, there are some payments that need to be processed before December 31. So I'm requesting approval to process payments as listed in Exhibit A after we complete the auditing procedures. The checks are going to be issued and will be added to the January the 7th register.
Move for approval.
Check.
Thank you.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, Raul Sin, Planning Administrator.
Morning,
First
sir.
item on the agenda is discussion possible action to authorize removal relocation of encroachment from county road right-of-way. It's an item in precinct 1. There's basically a fence that has blocked one of the county right-of-ways, and there's a applicant that's building a home north of that blocked X access. We submitted with, we discussed it with in-house counsel, and there's an opinion from in-house counsel that the county can take action through the Commissioner's Court, and we're asking that that action be taken. It is a safety issue, obviously, for the county to be able to maintain the county road and provide access to the public. That gate needs to come down. We need to remove the encroachments off the county road right away. So that item's here before you for the court to consider or take action based on safety concerns and issues, so we can direct the proper county personnel, would be the county itself, through, I guess, the local enforcement officer, to get out there and be able to remove that gate and fence from the road right away. So this item's before you now.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you
And
very much.
Judge and Commissioners, just for the record, we did not issue an opinion on that.
What?
Just for the record, we were not asked to, and we did not issue an opinion on item 18A.
Our in-house counsel, through our DA's office, was the one that issued the opinion, and the opinion is attached in your packet.
Who did you get an opinion from?
Josie?
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. I call him, I guess, in-house, but.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Next item.
Final approval of the first item, 2A, oh, excuse me, hold on. The first item, RS, oh, wait a minute. I got mine. Preliminary approval of San Marcos subdivision. Would you like to hold these collectively? These are 2 preliminary approval. They have been submitted to the cities and the respective ETJs, and they have been reviewed by all the county departments and my department. Advisory boards recommend approval. I'm also recommending approval. In San Marcos subdivision, RG Estates Phase 1 subdivision, preliminary approval subject to further comments before receiving final. Everything's in order for
Move
preliminary.
for approval B1, A, and B.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Second, final approval. The first 2A, there will be no action. There's a pending issue. It needs to go back to advisory board, so there'll be no action on that. There was a change to the subdivision plat. Move on to final approval of 2B, Mystical Star subdivision. That one has already been presented also to the subdivision advisory board. They all recommend approval. It is a 37 single-family lot subdivision located in the rural area of the county. It has been reviewed by the various county departments. Everything's been constructed, and everyone signed off on it, and my office also recommended approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Final approval with financial guarantee Vaquero Estates subdivision. This is 64 single-family lot subdivision located in Wesco. It has been approved by the city of Wesco as well. Everything's been constructed with exception of the septic tank. There is a cash deposit, the escrowing of the 17 lots has been deposited with the county for $25,500 for the septic, and everything else in order. All the departments have signed off, as well as mine. Recommend approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks.
Roll Tide.
Oh.
Commissioner,
Number 3 was it?
Commissioner, the next item is
19A.
19A for Precinct 3, and they're asking to process the invoices as claims with authority for the county treasurer to issue payment after review, audit, and procedures are completed by the county auditor. You have the vendors there noted: SOS Technologies, Matt's Building Materials, and Rush Truck Center. I will make a notation that payments will not be processed until the discrepancies are cleared up by the auditor's office. But again, we're asking for the action to be taken, and then we'll work with the auditor's office in clearing up the discrepancies.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
28.
Good morning, County Judge and Commissioners. Veronica Lopez, representing Precinct 4. Approval to process the following Argus ASG invoice as a claim with authority for County Treasurer to issue a check after auditing procedures are completed by County Auditor. The vendor is Argus ASG. The invoice date is October the 1st, and the amount is $134.40.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 21A is a report and approval of the emergency transfers processed by my office for the period of January through December 2013.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 21B is approval of, to correct the salary schedule discrepancies during the adoption proceedings as listed on Exhibit A to be effective 1/1/2014.
Move for approval. 1, 2, and 3, I guess.
Sergio,
Yes, sir.
the schedules were not attached. Have them-
The schedules have been attached now, so they are on the agenda, on Agenda Quick for review.
Thank you.
There's a motion second for B1 and 2.
And 3, I guess.
It should be 2 and 3. There's two, there should be 2 and 3. It should be approval of the Exhibit A, approval of the transfer, and the revised salary schedules.
We do have a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 21C is discussion, consideration, and approval of personnel actions approved after the budget adoption proceedings as listed on the agenda to be effective 1/1/2014, and those are C1, C2, C3, C4, and C5, which is the revised salary schedules for those items.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 21D, one is approval of the 2014 budget to be approved at the departmental level. When we approved the budget, I'm just requesting that it have been approved at the departmental level, which would allow for the intradepartmental transfers to be done from my office.
Move for
I'm
approval.
requesting that.
It's motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item D2 is approval to designate the budget officer, myself, subject to conditions and directions provided by Commissioners Court, to transfer amounts from certain budgeted items to other budgeted items as per Texas Local Government Code, Section 111.070C2. This would allow me to do emergency transfers
Move for approval.
in between court sessions.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item D3 is approval to designate the general fund and special revenue funds as the salary funds for the respective accounts as per Texas Local Government Code, Section 154.042.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21E is approval and acceptance of order dated December 5th, 2013, setting the salary for the court reporters for 2014.
Move for approval.
Second.
Does this apply to all court reporters?
Yes, these are the salaries for the court reporters that were approved by the Board of Judges.
And are they equal in salary?
No, they vary amongst,
Depending on seniority, I would think. And
yes, depending on how the court decided.
those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Approval 21E2 is approval and acceptance of order dated December 5th, setting the salary of the county auditor, assistant county auditors, and the budget for the county auditor for 2014. This was also approved by the Board of Judges as per statute on December 5th. Requesting just acceptance of the order.
For the record, I don't believe there was an increase. Am I correct, Mr. Ofracio?
Sir?
There's no increase in it.
Well, the salaries were reduced by an amount.
48,000.
Yeah. There was a reduction in salaries, overall, Judge. I think the overall budget reduction was 50,000. I don't know what amount.
For the salaries, it was 48,000. Overall, I believe it was a smaller reduction.
And
So some of those salaries went over to the operating side.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item F has already been presented and approved. 21G, 1 and 2 is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds in the total amount of $470,946. This is for the Precinct 2 equipment facility.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21H is approval to designate the amount of $5,125,171.98 in the year 2013 for expenditures related to the repair and maintenance of the county jail in connection with the landmark case settlement agreement. I'm requesting that those funds be designated for fiscal year 2013, which will make them available for appropriation fiscal year 2014. It's for the continuation of that project.
So what we're doing is we're setting him aside and putting him in his account so he can spend them in this year, 2014?
In 2014, correct.
For the repairs. Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21I is also approval to designate the amount of $4,164,601.85 in fiscal year 2013 for expenditures related to the 1115 waiver anchor program. This also would allow us to designate in fiscal year 2013 and then appropriate and use in fiscal year 2014.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, sir.
Sergio.
Under purchasing,
Yes, good morning.
good morning, ma'am.
Martha Salazar for Purchasing Department. We'll start off with 22A1. Presentation of the bids received as detailed and attached herein for the purpose of award and approval of contract document. The lowest vendor meeting all specifications or requirements. This is for Hidalgo County Tire Disposal Services. We had 5 participants. Well, we had 5 packets requested, 3 bids submitted. We are recommending Texas Land Reclamation, LLC, DBA, UTW, out of Laredo, Texas. There will be an increase of almost $100 per
Is it for
load
the
of
tires
the
only?
30 cubic yard containers.
For the
Yes.
tires, right?
Yes, sir. This is going to work in conjunction with also the City of Edinburgh's piggybacking on their contract for the same.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is something that needs to be addressed by the court. This is acceptance and approval of RFP number 2013, Real Estate Broker Services packet developed and drafted in collaboration with the Executive Office Department of Budget and Management, the precincts and purchasing with final review and comment by legal counsel. And this is for, with authority to publish the advertisement of same, including but not limited to. If you will recall, I sent out an email summarizing a meeting that was held at legal counsel, which I think gives you the highlights of what this packet will reflect. And those will be the credentials sought by the county are to engage qualified licensed brokers that possess real estate development capabilities, services that will include comprehensive review of potential properties categorized with recommendations. Compensation will be negotiated in accordance with any statutory limits. In this case, the cap is 6%, which we know by law. Engagement will be on a per precinct basis, which may result in a broker being awarded, of course, more than one precinct. All proposed properties will require a fair market value appraisal prior to their setting of minimum bids after consultation with your broker. The term of the agreement, and that's to be determined by the court. We either recommend 3 years, is it a 3-year phase out, or do you wish it to be less? I put either 3 or 5. I don't know what, I didn't get any feedback from sending out this email. Does 3 years seem appropriate at this point? We certainly.
I'm sorry, Marty, but I was doing something else.
No
What are we
problem.
trying to accomplish here?
Well, I'm just trying to get the court to understand that we're going to be putting out an RFP that are summarized in this email I sent out to all parties after a meeting was held at the county, at Mr. Crane's office, and everyone was invited. And the highlights of that RFP packet, because it's not finalized until legal counsel.
We're trying to contract a real estate broker.
A broker
to
with
do what?
extensive credentials and experience in developing commercial property. We are setting a minimum of 15 years experience.
Why are we interested in developing commercial property?
We're not trying to develop commercial. We're trying to get brokers that have that type of credential
To do what?
to sell our properties.
This is for the disposition of the properties
This
that we
is
discussed.
disposition of nominated properties by each precinct.
We
Okay.
discussed
Okay.
disposing of county assets
As
that
a-
were no
as-
longer
as-
used.
yes.
So we had discussed that
As a
during the
revenue
budget process.
generator.
This is part of the procedure to
Yeah.
get that going.
And I'm
getting a
trying to
buffer.
determine that you all will tell me what is the term of the agreement. Would you like an initial 1-year term with 2 one-year options to renew? So you have a possible 3-year
I think I like that one to see
Okay.
what their,
So
their
1 year
activity is, whether or not they're willing to.
with 2 1-years. At the county's option, of course.
Yeah, the 1 year term. Yeah, we got to hurry up and we give him 3 years, it might take him a lot.
No, just that the ability, yes, we're certainly going to be doing things, we're going to categorize those that we need to move right away, certainly. And then demonstrate at least 5 projects that these brokers have undertaken, which shows that they have the wherewithal and the contacts to market these properties at its best potential for the
And we're
county.
going to limit it to Hidalgo County brokers?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. We do want Hidalgo County brokers. So with that, I would need your action
Move for
to
approval.
proceed.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Now, at this time, I don't know if the court is going to want to take action to designate your evaluation committee now so that we can be prepared once it comes
Help me
in.
understand, so you're gonna get a scoring
Put out an
committee?
RFP.
Put out an RFP, there'll be a scoring committee, and then potentially you could have multiple brokers.
Oh, yes,
representing
one per
different areas.
precinct or a multiple broker for multiple precincts.
Okay.
But this way, if you could get more participation, you might be able to get them focused on each precinct. That's what we wanted to do. So does the court wish to designate the committee now?
Probably, what, the chiefs of staff of the court
Would
or?
appoint Marcos Lopez out of my
Raúl
office.
Chilguero.
Marcos?
Out of my office.
Marcos, is that what you're saying? Okay. Judge?
Yolanda.
All right. Commissioner Palacios?
Raúl Chilguero.
Raúl Lozano.
And I will call Commissioner Flores for his designation.
And Judge, and Judge Commissioners, if I may, as we've done in the past, just as an advisory
be
role with-
included,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
With Ms. Marty.
Yeah, well, I'd ask for both of y'all to be included.
Okay, going on then,
We need action on that, don't we?
oh,
Yes.
So move.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
going on to item 3. Sorry. Here we go. Discussion and applicable action on the current RFP number 289 for self-insured healthcare claims auditing services, including but not limited. I'm going to recommend at this time, given also with an email that I sent out to all parties during the week, that the current form of the RFP you authorize is limited by certain restrictions imposed on our terms and conditions with our administrative services agreement with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Some of those include, but are not limited to, what I described in the email that I sent out to you all. And if I can just remind myself. One of them is that we are not permitted to put out an audit based on a contingency fee. We are prohibited from doing that. It can only be done on a flat fee. That is prohibited by our current agreement with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Second one, we are limited to the amount of time we can ask for those records. It's only 2 years, 24 months. So in other words, if we put it out in January, we can only get all of 12 and 13 to be audited. Can't go any further than that. We had initially asked to do 3 years, 10, 11, and 12, or 11, 12, and 13.
So you want to cancel the present
I want to
RFP?
cancel the present form. So I'm recommending that. Then I've got some options for you.
All right.
Okay, so if,
Need to entertain a motion on item 3A.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
now, my next recommendation is to get authority to re-advertise it, but I'm going to be asking you to allow us to work with Mr. Looney. There are several provisions also that are included here. Blue Cross Blue Shield also imposes what is called certain limitations on the form of there's policies, procedures related to external audits, independent audits. Those will have to be adhered to by the county, and that is part of also your administrative services agreement. He will be instrumental. He's also given us some pointers he wants included. He was here earlier, but had a meeting that he had to attend at an attorney's office to include in the RFP. So what I'm asking is authority to re-advertise it with final review by our consultant and legal counsel to put out.
Marty, we have a contract and agreement with the TPA. I thought we had just a policy, because remember when we had a discussion last week regarding the contract, and you indicated we don't have a contract, we have a policy only with the TPA. So there is.
You were talking about the administrative services agreement?
Right.
Yes. No, we were talking about the excess insurance.
The TPA.
No,
the process
the
and
administrative the administrative services agreement is an agreement.
There's an agreement? Okay.
Oh, yes, and it is.
Okay. I
It's
was looking
included
for
as-
one, and you indicated there's not one. All we
No,
have
no.
is just a
No,
policy.
sir. It
Okay.
is an agreement, and it has those provisions.
And that agreement prohibits us from engaging.
Those things that I mentioned.
Right.
Doing if we can't do it on a contingency basis, 24 months is the limit, and you must abide by their external policies and procedures. External audit policies and procedures, of which we've already received them. We've asked for them. We received them. Mr. Crane has them. I can forward them to your office. But what I'm saying is I want the court to allow us to put that RFP together in connection with Mr. Looney's recommendations and legal counsel's final review.
And I guess the
Subject
court-
to those limitations.
Who is Group Health Insurance Consultant?
Mr.
That
Looney.
Mr. Looney?
Yes.
Marty, so the new agreement the court just approved a week or two ago?
Has the same provisions.
Has the same terms
Yes,
and
sir.
conditions?
Yes, sir.
And it cannot be modified? I guess
No,
only
sir.
with
It
the
is
permission of
standard
TPA?
industry practice. In fact, the way this came up, Mr. Fracio, it was a question posed by a participant who was surprised that we were putting out something on a contingency basis because it is not permitted in the industry.
All right. DBM is whom?
Oh, Department of Budget and Management. These would be all the offices that would be contributing to the final product.
Can you let somebody in my office know so that maybe they can at least be there?
Certainly, I'm going to bring this agreement back for you all to, I mean, not agreement, this RFP for you to approve. But yes, we'll be inclusive
All right.
in letting them know and review before we bring it back.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
Marty, how come we have Honorable S. Crane instead of the Honorable Josephine Ramirez?
There's certain,
I guess it depends on the type
well,
of issue.
no, well, for example, Mr. Crane also is sent anything that with AIA. Ms. Josephine has informed us they will not review AIAs. They don't have the software. In this instance, since they've always approved, since Mr. Crane has always approved the administrative services end of it, and not administrative services, but the consultant group health, that's why he continues to do it. It's not choosing one over the other.
And the reason I ask that is because whenever we have any questions regarding contracts, we usually consult with Josephine and Victor.
And so do we. We send stuff to them all the
Because we need to
time.
consult now with also Mr. Crane?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, need a motion. I would entertain a motion to approve item 22A3B.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 4, accept Texas AgriLife assets purchased through the Texas A&M system, no longer in use and obsolete, and to declare them a surplus for the purpose of disposition by the county.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is approval of the property transfer forms as attached with supporting documentation from Texas A&M system.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
We've already done item 5. Let me
Item 6.
just get there, Judge. Pardon me. Here we go. Acceptance and approval of the interlocal governmental agreement by and between Hidalgo County and Appraisal District with Hidalgo County for year 2014 in connection with participation in the self-funded health insurance program, stop-loss insurance, life, and AD&D, and B, voluntary products. There are some concerns by the auditor, as I have responded. DBM, Department of Budget and Management, is drafting those changes that they want and recommended, and that DBM and I concur with, and that will be subject to legal's final review. So we do ask for action.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
The next item 7 is requesting authority to exercise the 60-day grace period extension as provided in the current agreement with legal services to represent Hidalgo County Civil Service Commission, and that is with the law firm Espinosa Law Firm. We have also informed them about the insurance, and they will, of course, send us their current. It is due to expire in January, Judge, but they have been informed.
What's going to happen in March? We're going to let it out again for,
Mr. Guerra is weighing his options of possibly continuing on an exemption with this firm, but I believe he's going to be discussing that with the court.
need a motion to approve?
Check.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Next item is presentation for consideration, discussion, acceptance, and approval to amend interlocal agreement between City of Edinburgh and the county for tire disposal of non-hazardous solid waste to reflect the $215 per 30 cubic yard bins for the disposal of tires. It's already accounted for in our interlocal. However, we are including now the actual cost to the county, which is dollar for dollar of which they pay.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And by the way, they have verbally, through email, committed to it. They just need to present it to their body. Item 9, acceptance and approval of an amendment to the AIA B-141-1997 Standard Form of Agreement with Alcocer Garcia and Associates, the remodel of existing old administration building, which includes the emergency management office redesign into the county judges' suites at a cost of $6,170.
This is for the additional.
For the
changes.
redesign to accommodate emergency management in the county judges' suites, which were anticipated to be housed somewhere else and needed to be redesigned to be included there.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item B, I'm going to be asking for no action. The court needs to understand that today's announcement by Mr. Guerra is related to the email that I sent out to everyone this week on exactly what was going to be delivered today to D. Wilson. What was going to be delivered today to D. Wilson had to do with the 2 load-bearing vaults that had to be redesigned around for Mr. Wilson to continue work, and there were about 4 items. This does not include the plans and specs for the redesign of Commissioner's Court or the county judge's offices. As the architect has advised several times, and that after a redesign occurs, the MEP engineers need 6 to 8 weeks to incorporate all the changes into final plans and specs. I will be bringing those to you right after the first of the year. However, with what's being delivered to D. Wilson today, we'll resume work and keep them busy until these plans are delivered. So that's why I'm asking for no action on B,
All right,
because they aren't
move on
ready.
to the next one then.
Item C. Acceptance and approval of invoice number 14, $7,873, submitted by Alcocer and Garcia for the remodel of the administration building.
This from the original contract? Or?
This is still part of contracting for those
Move for
services.
What is that item for specifically, Marty? Is that for the redesign of the Commissioner's Court room or no?
Yes, yes, we emailed it to you, it's right here. Remodel of existing, yes. It's attached.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
All right, going on to the next item. That is not item 10. Pursuant to the contract with ERO, a request for approval by architect to permit the subcontracting of HDR Architects and Half Engineering in connection with the schematic design for the new courthouse.
Who is HDR?
I don't know the name of the architecture.
Where are they
firm.
from? Do you have any idea?
They're not from the Valley. I do know that. I did not get their title. I'm sorry, Judge. Let's see. Hold on, and let me see if I got the original email from them asking.
Well, I mean, we gave them the contract and they need them, is what they're telling us.
No, they don't tell us where they're from. They just say 2 consultants will be HDR Architects and Half Engineering. And they'll be as a judicial consultant.
As long as they're properly insured.
Oh, yes, sir. There are provisions that they have to adhere to,
Qualified.
embedded in the contract with ERO.
I know half would be, I'm just not familiar with HDR. All right.
So the architect is going to hire another architect? Is that what?
For judicial consultation is what the letter states, and it's attached. It does describe that.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B1, Precinct 1, pursuant to current contract with Holcimont Limited, AIA contract number 028. Article 14.3, a request of approval of claim from Holcimont for reimbursement in the amount of $1,593 for additional cost in connection with the extension of builder's risk insurance.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
B, acceptance of approval to increase original PO, PO number 750, pardon me, as approved by the architect of record, Alcocer Garcia and Associates, in the amount of $20,223. That's for change order number 4.
Move for approval.
Check.
This is all as a
Also,
result of our
Precinct
delay.
1's, it's Precinct 1's Constable's building.
Those in favor, say
Yeah,
aye.
it's the constable's office.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is approval of the certificate of substantial completion for contractor Holcimont, reflecting the completion date of December the 11th, 2013, and that is for the same building.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
For Precinct 2, approval, item C1, approval to execute awarded execute awarded contract, construction contract with Texas Cordia Construction in the amount of $682,929.86, which is the lowering of canal crossing and road widening at Eldora and Sergeant Trevino Road.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next one is approval of final AIA Form 101 agreement between Hidalgo County, the owner, and Holchemont contractor in the amount of $1,585,000, subject to legal's final review. And this is for the equipment and maintenance facility for the project that is being designed by ERO Architects.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Precinct 4, D1. This is acceptance and approval of the finalization estimated cost of work authorization 3, Part 2, additional services and hours as detailed in the attachment C, providing communication and public engagement strategies and services for Precinct 4 to assist raising awareness of education and county and precinct services and programs for the community, and allowing PO number 669756 to be increased.
Move for approval.
That's for,
Check.
What about the project schedule, Maria?
that is with Godinez.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Yes, sir?
The project schedule needs to be modified, needs to be.
Yes, sir. It's being discussed by your staff and mine,
Okay.
and I believe we finally got the revisions as required.
So you're gonna bring it back later on?
I believe that the ones submitted were okay. If they have to be, we will, but at this point, I wasn't advised of that.
Because my understanding is they need to be modified in order for us to process the payment.
Correct, but I believe they were even discussing it this morning, and it appeared to be, that version was correct. B, pardon me a moment here. Acceptance and approval of request for payment for the following invoices as submitted by Godinez Communications. Work authorization 3, PO 669756, under contract number 117, and they're listed 1 through 14 in the amount of $68,500.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Just to make the court aware. Within it's related to it.
oh, then let me make the second. There was a motion, I'll make the second. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is acceptance and
We
approval.
need to get one of those
Yeah.
written,
Just clear.
go ahead, Marty.
Oh, okay. He's abstaining, in other words.
Right.
Right.
Okay, yes. Item 2, acceptance and approval of the AIA document, form of agreement between owner and NM Contracting. Awarded contract is in the amount of $462,951 for project building repairs and renovations additions to the restitution center on M Road for Precinct 4.
Move for approval.
It's just. Has nothing to do with the above.
No, it's
No, it
Precinct 4.
Check.
Precinct 4.
Oh, no, sir, it has nothing to do with those.
Contracts, Steve?
On this one, I think 4, I believe we did.
Precinct 4, yes, this one did get approved by legal counsel.
Right.
It doesn't
I
have
missed
an
it.
arbitration clause in there,
No.
does it?
Oh, none of them
No,
do.
none of
No,
them
sir.
do.
All right.
We do not have an arbitration
We have a
clause.
motion and a second to approve. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is acceptance and approval of the AIA Form of A101 agreement between owner and Couric Enterprises LLC for, which is DBA Foremost Construction, in the amount of $1,211,000 for the project of the construction of the Community Resource Center in San Carlos, located on State Highway 107 and Sunflower Road, Edinburgh.
Move for
Precinct
approval.
4.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is consideration and approval of an irrevocable letter of direction of contract funds as required by the bonding company, Cyberus Incorporated, for Couric Enterprises LLC, DBA Foremost Construction. And those are for that project.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And this is acceptance and approval of award to A proposal received in the amount of $9,653 from Alpha Building Corporation, awarded job order contractor. This is through Harris County's Department of Education Choice Facilities Partners, which is their co-op, for project number in the San Manuel Beautification Project and stonework. This is also in Precinct 4.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is for constables. This is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A7, and that is proprietary software.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Marty, we had an issue with funding. Has that been
Oh,
resolved now?
yes, sir. Precinct 2 will not be participating. Precinct 3 will be looking into funding it for 2014.
We'll be bringing back an item in January for complete funding for the rest of the
Right.
fiscal year.
They had immediate funding, but not for 2014.
So we'll be working with the
So you want
precinct.
approval subject to funding?
Yes, I'll include that, subject to funding.
Subject to funding.
Requesting approval of the agreement, online research services with LexisNexis, including but not limited to constables 1, 3, and 4, and 3 subject to funding.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
My next item is for Health and Human Services. We're asking for an exemption from competitive bidding requirements under 262-024A4, a professional service.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for the purchasing department to negotiate and enter into professional services contract, well, to negotiate and approve a final negotiated contract with Kevin Nolting, pardon me, DBA Nolting Consulting for the provision of consulting services for the 1115 waiver anchor duties, Region 5 project.
Move for approval.
Judge, Commissioners, on this item,
Yes, Ed.
I'd like to make a comment that Mr. Nolte is, the court asked us to look at getting some counsel, some advice, some consultants in dealing with 1115 waiver that would represent the county. Usually the hospitals have their representative, Mr. Jaffarini. Mr. Nolte is a well-known advisor for Department of State Health Services and HHSC. I think Mr. Frausto has worked with them in the past in various projects. He is extremely well respected in this area, and his counsel and support, he is not an attorney, but he is fully aware of all the ins and outs of Operation 1115 at the national level as well. I think he'll be a tremendous asset to us to help.
He certainly has the
I think we need
credentials.
somebody like that. You might want him to look at our healthcare. You know, we do have medical doctors, we do have, what do they call them? PAs.
Right.
And our healthcare providers, maybe we can incorporate that into our
This gentleman
indigent care.
is extremely well-versed in all of those areas. He,
But ask him to look at that.
yes, sir.
Eddie,
All right.
but this is only for the anchor
1115.
project,
This is only for the
right?
1115 waiver, but I know that under what Judge Garcia sent, Mr. Fracio, under the wellness and some of that, 1115 actually may help fund some of that in the future. And so I think that's where the incorporation of some of the.
As it relates to the 1115 and would overlap to the county.
No, but is 1115 waiver anchor duties related to,
But
related
embedded-
to the Region 5.
But out of that, embedded with that, we
You
have
can
4
incorporate the
million
wellness?
that's
Correct.
going to pay for this. That's, some of that funding is going to help us with the wellness program, some implementation. That's where we integrate the physicians and everything into that as well.
But also to see if the work that we do, the healthcare we provide, does that qualify for indigent healthcare, you know, calculations or for any purpose?
Definitely, he could help us with all of that, sir.
I need a motion to approve.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. Merry Christmas.
Budget and Management, G1, discussion and action to award to Montalvo Insurance Agency and approval of final negotiations, including best and final offers for RFP 155, excess workers' compensation insurance, as ranked, approved by Commissioners Court on 12/10.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is Requesting approval to purchase the insurance coverage and/or services under the RFP, excess workers' compensation insurance as described in the RFP proposal, premiums and fee schedule as submitted by and through Montalvo Insurance Agency.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Discussion and action to award to TriStar Risk Management and approval of final negotiations, including best and final offers, quality claims administration services for workers' compensation.
Marty, has legal reviewed this agreement?
On this one, yes. Let me double check. If not, it is subject to it.
Are we going to entering into the same agreement we've had before, or is it going to increase? Or?
It's usually the form, I don't know if the fees are reflective of any increases. I do not have that with me. I don't know if Sergio has any idea whether these are, they look very similar to what we currently have.
Subject to review.
Approval, I want to approve it subject to legal review.
I know the form of agreement's usually the same, but I'll make that caveat if it hasn't been done.
All right, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is requesting approval to purchase the insurance coverage and/or services for, that's the one we just described, I'm sorry. Going to the Colonia Access Program, that's number H for Precinct 3.
2B.
No action on B, Marty?
2B.
B?
Oh, then I
2B.
did skip it, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we just did A.
Let me get back to it.
But is it a duplicate item then? It's got 2A
No,
and 2B.
requesting approval to purchase the insurance coverage for quality claims administration services for workers' compensation as described in the RFP, premiums and scheduled fee submitted. Yes, he was asking if there had been an increase. I wasn't sure. That
Need
needs
action
action.
on that?
Yes,
Move
sir.
for approval.
I apologize.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Now, we're seeking ratification of fully executed change order number 1 to revise a cross-section of roadway from bar ditch drainage to curb and gutter section along Thompson Road and add drainage section reflecting an increase of $26,181.98 for the additional 40 calendar days with contractor Texas Cordia Construction for Regal Estate subdivision in Precinct 3. And this was submitted by the engineer, Javier Hinojosa.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Next item is for the Sheriff's Office. This is requesting approval to enter in an interlocal agreement by and between Tropical Texas Behavioral Health, MHMR, and Hidalgo County for the purpose of screening, assessments, and psychiatric evaluations of county jail inmates.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is recommending award of bid and approval of contract document to the sole bidder, Henry Schein Medical
EMS.
EMS, that's a new one on me, meeting all specifications and/or requirements as attached here due for the purchase of medical supplies and/or equipment.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The last but not least, we have acceptance and approval submitted by Captain Richard Osuna, the Sheriff's Office, and Motorola of the change order request to delete the text messenger item numbers from the equipment list and add the number listed, which will not impact the terms and conditions of the lease purchase agreement previously approved by Commissioners Court back in October of 2012.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
On behalf of myself and my staff, we want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, and a Prospero Año Nuevo, Happy New Year, that you all have
Thank
health,
you, Marty.
happiness,
Have a good
and
one.
peace.
From all of
Thank
us.
you.
We now move back to item 15B.
Okay.
Yes, sir, 15B, I did speak directly to Commissioner Flores, and his request is to eliminate the La Jolla and substitute it with the Penitas.
All right. Need a motion to that effect? Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B2 is discussion, consideration, and approval of the March 4th, 2014 primary election early voting mobile unit sites for Mobile Unit 1 and Mobile Unit 2.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
And those locations are listed where?
We went ahead and gave you another handout. There are total 50 locations in all. There are 10 and...
No, I'm sorry, but where is the handout? Do you have one with you?
Yes, sir. Do you have another one? We just gave that one away. I think there's one up here.
Oh, is this it here? Okay, I've got it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We've got them separated by Mobile 1 and Mobile 2.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Need a motion to proceed to executive session pursuant to 551, 071, and 072. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. We're back in open session. Mr. Guerra?
Thank you, Judge Commissioners. Item 24, open session. 24A, real estate acquisition appropriation for same, no action. 24B, pending potential litigation, no action. Item 24C, there is no action at this time to be taken. Under Saldana versus Hidalgo County and Hidalgo County Elections Administrator, we'll just proceed as directed. C, just proceed as directed. 24D, Elisa Solis versus Hidalgo County and as administrator for Head Start program, we'll just proceed as directed at this point. And again, just for disclosure purposes, as I informed the court some time back, we did have a mediation, and that process is still ongoing at this point. And this was a federal mediation. Item E, EEOC charge number 451-2014-00350, Eugenia Andrade, will just proceed as directed. There's really no action to take today. Item F, subrogation claim against Noe Vela Castillo. Judge, Commissioners, I would like the court to consider and entertain a motion to accept or to finalize a subrogation claim against Noe Vela Castillo in the amount of $4,106.28.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Subrogation claim against Elma Vera, which would be item G, just proceed as directed. Item H, subrogation claim against Dora Perez and Maria Rodriguez. Judge, Commissioners, I'd like for the court to consider and entertain a motion authorizing Josephine Ramirez's office to file suit against Dora Perez and Maria Rodriguez under this subrogation claim.
We need action on that?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item I, under the open session, subrogation claim against Maria Teresa Zamora, will just proceed as directed as well. Item J, claim of Blanca E. Alvarez. Judge, Commissioners, I would like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $164.49.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item K, 24K, open session, claim of at and T. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $509.76.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Judge Commissioners, there's no further action under 25, 26, and we have taken all action items today, so all we have left is 27.
Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Those in
Merry
favor, say
Christmas
aye.
and Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you, Judge
Motion
Commissioners.
carries. Thank you very much, gentlemen.